I don't watch a lot of TV, but for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been traveling a lot, mostly through car, up and down the United States, East Coast to West Coast, and lots of places in between. And the show that I feel like I've watched the most, which is almost exclusively, it seems, what I watch, is Forensic Files. But there are a couple interesting things about the show. First off, the narrator, Peter Thomas, he died a few years ago. He is absolutely perfect for this show. Kind of reminds me of this show about 10 or 15 years ago called Autopsy on HBO. They had a woman narrator on there that was so spooky and perfect, who was actually, she died as well, but her son is Jeffrey Toobin, who was a CNN legal analyst and also got in trouble for some sexual stuff a year or two ago during COVID, during a Zoom meeting. He accidentally got exposed. He was doing something and they found him. But that's another story. But the narrator, Forensic Files, Peter Thomas, he died a few years ago. He's just tremendous. And they seem to keep coming up with new episodes, or maybe they redo some episodes. It seems like I've seen the same episode a lot, but I've also seen the same episode, but it's different. So maybe they're repackaging some of these with some new storytelling that was in the can, so to speak. But there's one thing that's pretty disturbing about Forensic Files, and is that in almost every case there are multiple suspects, and by definition, there's only one of them that's going to be the one who did it, and they just put the innocent people who were accused way back when, sometimes in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. They put their name on there, their whole story, and they are, this destroys them for life. This show is so great, it's going to be showing replays forever on cable TV. It's on Headline News, I think. It's probably on multiple stations, but the show is so good, you can just picture this thing going on and on and on for decades. And I just think it just has to be wrong to do that to these people. They use their real names. The people who didn't do it, and they go all the way through, and a lot of the times you think they did do it for the whole way, and then you start Googling their name. It's really sad. And similar to that, a lot of these online, and now they have websites. They used to have websites a lot, but now they got a ton of web sleuths that they do it on YouTube, like these crime shows where you got like one-man band type guys, for the most part, women and men, who they pick up these crime cases, sometimes these cold cases for years and years. Like they had the Delphi murders that they just arrested a guy a couple months ago or earlier this year. But before that, a lot of these big cases, they just start listing all these suspects. It starts like with way back when, like the Jack the Ripper case, but obviously that doesn't matter now. But all these big cases, or even the fringe cases, these people just put up a big YouTube podcast or show, and they talk about all these people who are potential suspects. And it's I guess you can do that, but to me, there's no restraint. And a lot of these people just pencil these guys in. Oh, I know he did it, he had to have done it, and they put their whole name out there. And but for the grace of God, there goes I, right? You can get caught up in a situation where you're one of the suspects, and if you get one of these crime channels or Forensic Files doing a show on the crime, you're done. You're just going to be having to defend that forever. And so that's my thoughts on Forensic Files. But it is an amazing show. It really is good. It has to be. I don't watch like regular television shows, but it has to be way better than the crime dramas that have been on for the last 2 or 3 decades, right? Forensic Files is a nice, crisp half-hour show, and they get right to it, and it just runs over and over, and then you got a next one and a next one, and it's always exciting when you see the next one. You're like, oh, I haven't seen that one before. But at some point, I definitely will go through all of the Peter Thomas narrated Forensic Files shows, and that will be a sad day, because you can't replace a guy like that.